And can you tell me your name again?
Laurel Jean Siler.
Okay, will you want to talk about this painting?
This particular painting is, I don't remember what I titled it, but it's, during the summer I was talking to a friend, and who is also one of my pastors, and he suggested that maybe I needed to focus in a different place than I was focusing. And he said, why don't you go paint God? I said, yeah, I'll get right on that. And so he's like, oh, you can have like a week or two. Yeah, 2 weeks, okay. And so I think I emailed him back within about 2 days and said, you just gave me something I'm going to be working on for the rest of my life. And so I dug into scripture, and I took a class on Revelation, because I know the images in Revelation would be great material to paint out of. And in chapter 4, there's a description of God, and frequently there are things in there that I don't necessarily know what they look like. So I looked up the materials, the minerals that they said it kind of looks like this, and I looked them up, and it looked really red and mottled, and I read a few commentaries, but it looked really red and mottled, and like the pictures of a star from that you see like from the Hubble telescope and things. So I thought, hey, that's really interesting, because we talk about God being in inapproachable light, and that if you stand next to God, you'd be obliterated because of the power of that, and that would be an awful lot like standing very close to a star, or to the sun, which is a star. And so there's direct references to the scripture, the holy, 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 and I am, which is kind of buried underneath the paint. But the face, red with red eyes, and the light and the lightning is all from that description of the Father in glory from Revelation chapter 4.
All right, thank you very much. So let's move on to this next ones right
These
here.
are also Revelation paintings of mine. Revelations. This is very much that another, Pat said, go paint God. Okay. And so this is I am. Yahweh is I am that I am. Yahweh is the Hebrew for it, and so I am is very much a name of God. And then one of the other names of God that they use is El Shaddai, which is the God who sees. So there's I am plus the eyes, and for some reason I like it, but it never completely feels done. But it's kind of cool, because when you see what we realize, what we see of God is just a tiny glimpse at God's full nature and God's true being. Because it's like trying to figure out a three-dimensional object when you live in 2 dimensions. You can see the fingerprint, but you can't see the whole finger, kind of an idea. So that one is very much just kind of that, trying to paint God. And then this one is also out of Revelation. There's a scripture that just it just was a striking picture for me. An eagle circling ahead of the judgments, one of the sets of judgments. There was an eagle circling overhead saying, woe, woe, woe. And so I had painted the woe, and then I painted the eagle over it, kind of in silhouette, like you were looking up against the sun at it. And so it's just a little kind of very literally taken snapshot of very symbolic language, which is what I like about books like Revelation and Lamentations, is there's so many, word pictures, ideas, possibilities in the language, that it kind of leaves you open to
interpretation.
Yeah, and also to exploring really interesting images that nobody's ever painted before. There are thousands of years worth of Christian artwork, and we tend to repeat things over and over again. Like this, weirdly enough, is based on an Ecce Homo, which is a traditional image, behold the man, and of Christ being presented, and then she obviously changed the gender of the main male figure. But we keep doing the same things over and over again, which is kind of art and life. But it's interesting when you find a subject that nobody's really painted before to try to do it in a huge tradition like that.